my name's Takara. This is the road to success. Today I'm going to share with you a 14-chapter journey that I went on about 2 months ago in my speech class. Reading out of the book Oral Communication has really taught me a lot. So today I'm going to share with you a point from each chapter that has helped me grow as a person in my speech and communication skills. Hopefully this inspires you to grow as well too. And since I've read the book from the beginning all the way to the end, I feel like I can speak on this topic. Let's get started. On chapter 1 on page 8, Communicating for Life. It's very noisy sometimes. On our road trip to success, we can easily get distracted and go on unnecessary detours because we have too much noise in our mind. Oftentimes we're thinking of the things that we have to do. Maybe we have emails to check, our parents are asking us to do things, we have obligations at work, and we get distracted. So oftentimes we can go on a different route just because we're getting distracted from all the noise. So it's really important to make sure you tune down that knob on the noise. So in order for you to be successful. On chapter 2, they say perception is everything. This is very true. On page 31, quote, it says, if we see ourselves through the labels given to us by others, we may develop a self-concept based on illusion rather than on reality. Say, for instance, you were running late and somebody saw you running late maybe 1 or 2 times, but all year long you were not running late. And those 2 times happened to be really good reasons why you were running late, or maybe they thought you were running late and you really weren't. They're going to label you as running late. So that is their perception of you. So it's really, be careful and mindful of that. Not that you always have to care what other people think, but you should also think about the perception you have of yourself. Sometimes others' perceptions of you bleed over to us in the way we perceive ourselves. So be careful of that. On chapter 3, the influence of language. This is very important because much like the perception example, choosing your words carefully can make a negative or a positive impact. So, for instance, I have on here Animal Crossing. Sometimes you don't have enough information. It just says Animal Crossing. But if it said Bear Crossing, it would be different than if it was Bird Crossing. I would think differently in terms of danger. So just be careful of the way that you choose your words. On chapter 4, let's talk nonverbals. Page 57 says it perfectly, quote, we cannot not communicate. It's very true. So if my arms are crossed, or I have too much eye contact, or not enough, or I am running late, or running early, it all sends messages, whether it's positive or negative. Nonverbal communication is a form of communication, so be mindful of that. On chapter 5, communication interpersonally. An important lesson is on self-disclosure. For instance, if a cop pulls you over, you may not want to share certain pieces of information with him. Say you're running late and you want to make it to that football game at 4 and you tell him that, it may not go in your favor. Sometimes we say too much information and sometimes we don't say enough. So be careful how you communicate interpersonally. One also takeaway that really impacted me in that chapter was the motivation of the information you share with others. Sometimes people are motivated because they want to clear their conscience, but that then places a burden on other people. So just be careful of that because it can have a negative impact. Chapter 6, navigating through conflict resolution. In this chapter, I learned on page 133 that there's 5 conflict resolutions that people tend to fall into. One is competing, another is avoiding, another is accommodating, compromising, or collaborating. The most favorable one is collaborating. That's the ideal one. Usually is a win-win on both parties. Now, if you're running late and you get pulled over by a cop down this road to success and you get pulled over, if you choose to avoid the situation, you may choose to run. That's not a good outcome. So that's navigating through conflict resolution. On chapter 7, initiation, preparation of speech. So in order to initiate, one of my challenges is putting on a game face. Not everybody likes to sit up here and speak in the camera. I'm one of those people. So I can either choose to look at it in a positive way, that I get to do this speech, or out of obligation. and then it may not go very well if I don't make the best of it. So a lot of times just preparing yourself, putting your game face on goes a long way. On chapter 8, construction of speech. In order to construct a speech, you have to do research, organize it, and outline it off, or map it out. So it's really important to make sure that you do those research, organize, and mapping it out, because the speech will turn out a lot better if that's a big part of constructing the speech. So in chapter 9, it's talking about presentation. So presenting a speech, practice makes perfect. Sometimes you don't always have time to practice, so just do the best you can, but practice does make perfect. Chapter 10, persuasion. If I persuaded you to go to the East Coast versus the West Coast in terms of beaches, I may want to have some facts to back that up. In order to do a good persuasion speech, you need to have research and data in order to entice people to change their mind, or if they're on the fence. So it's really important. That was on page 204. In chapter 11, constructing the persuasion speech. In order to really have a good persuasion speech, you need to believe in it. It's very important. Chapter 12 talks about interview time, making sure you're prepared. Make sure you bring your confidence, because preparation equals confidence. Chapter 13 talks about teamwork, finding strength in others. That's really important. In chapter 14, finally moving forward, willing to adapt. Sometimes you have bumps in the road, you have to be willing to adapt. So hopefully now that I've taken you down this journey with me, you can be inspired and grow from the journey that I just took you on, or maybe pick up a book, Oral Communication. See you on the road to success. Hopefully you don't speed. Thanks for watching.